What is up, you guys? So we have a post by Shirley Anderson. I am now starting to be disappointed in her because of this, what she said right here. So she shares the so she shares this on Wake Up Carlsbad, writing a crystal ball as to the future of roundabouts 3 years after installing a low-cost traffic circle at a Y-shaped intersection in a residential area located in Encinitas. We yank it out and try stop signs instead. This is not a crystal ball into the future of Carlsbad. So Shirley Anderson, my question to you is this, my friend. With you posting this, with you sharing the San Diego Union Tribune article about this, saying a crystal ball as the future of roundabouts, are you insinuating, because you were not at that meeting, right? Because you're not, obviously you weren't, because otherwise you would have been in my video. But if you were at that meeting, were you going to say that you oppose the idea of having the plan of having the two new roundabouts here in Carlsbad, or were you going to be in support of the two new roundabouts to be put here in Carlsbad within the next year and a half, next year, 2 years? Because in the next 2 years, because the project won't start until 2025, late 2025, or sorry, mid to late 2025. Anyway, so what is it about roundabouts that people hate so much? That question is not just to Shirley, but also to everyone else. What is it that you guys hate about it? I don't understand. I really don't. Is there something about it? Because I fully support it. If you live in District 2, as of November of 2024, you live in District 2, vote for Mona Gacken. Okay? Vote for Miss Mona Gacken, because she is apparently running for city council for to be the permanent option, be the permanent council member to replace Carolyn Luna. Because Karen Luna, I love her, she's amazing in certain areas, but in this area, right, the area of roundabouts, she was all over the place. Miss Carolyn Luna was all over the place when she was talking about roundabouts. So it came time for council comments, council and mayor comments and questions. Part of her comments was all over the place. It didn't make any sense one iota. It's on here on my channel, which I'll go ahead and put up here. And I'll go and play that video for you guys, so that way you guys can see. Go to my channel here. So again, is there a reason behind the removal of this? So here it is right here. So Miss Luna's comments were all over the place, which, I mean, we can go over later. But again, my question to you, Miss Shirley Anderson, when you wrote this, a crystal ball as to the future of roundabouts, that really, I think, is going to spark a lot of questions. And whether it's comments on your post, I think there's going to be a lot of comments that are going to probably agree with you. Few that do not agree with you. I cannot comment on here anymore, otherwise I'll get taken down for some reason and get blocked. That's why I make videos, and quite honestly, I'd much rather make a video, even though my comments have never on this page have never been negative. They've always been positive. Never hurt anybody. I've never threatened anybody. Just simply making the same comments everybody else is making on here. But nonetheless, there's going to be comments on here that are going to probably ask you as well, what's the reason behind the crystal ball part of your post? Because how do you see this? How do you see, because here's the thing. I don't know what all goes on in Encinitas. I really don't, other than the rainbow flag being flown, right? And that incident that happened to that young kid on his e-bike. Other than that, I don't know anything else that goes on in Encinitas. So I don't know if there's a lot of crazy people, because it seems like we have all the crazy people living here. A lot of crazy people. A lot of my neighbors are crazy, psychotic people. We have one psychotic individual on city council, that being Melanie Burkholder. We have quite a lot of people. All the people that got restraining orders against me and a CPO against me are psychotic people. The church that tried to get a restraining order against me, extremely psycho individuals. Shannon Gonzalez, by the way, as well, tried to get a restraining order against me, extremely psychotic, by the way. But other than those individuals, because they don't go to city council meetings, other than some people at the Mission Church, or one person does. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is, quite honestly, but if there's a reason behind your post here, surely understand. There's some things that you do that I like. There's some things that you do that I don't like, which this post is something that you do that I don't like. I'm not understanding your post right here, Shirley Anderson. So if you want to stay my friend, I want to stay your friend. You seem like a very nice person. I want to stay your friend. Every time I get excited, every time I see you, I get excited to see you. You're one of those friends in my life that I get super excited to see. Why do you think that at the recent city council meeting in Carlsbad, I saw that empty seat next to you and my two other friends? Why do you think that I jumped at the opportunity to sit next to you and my two other friends? Because I got really excited to see you, besides my two other friends. So again, Shirley, you're somebody who I like a lot. One of my friends in my life that I really, really like. And I would like it to stay that way. So this post right here, by you saying a crystal ball as to the future of roundabouts, is extremely concerning. I'm sorry. I love you, Shirley. You seem like a very cool person, but however, I don't understand what you're trying to say here. So if you're trying to say that if we end up installing the roundabouts, that it's going to be a disaster. I hate to say it, but part of Encinitas is built really bad. I would say worse than here. Worse than here. I've been through part of Encinitas. There's so many parts of Encinitas that I've been through in my lifetime. And it's quite built so bizarre. I don't know if, and again, in my recent post, if it's all about the fact that we are I don't know if it was built in a part of Encinitas that I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it was the cost, right? Because they bought the city of Encinitas bought a very crappy one, right? It's kind of funny how Encinitas City Council and Mayor, they buy such crappy, they spend as little money as possible, but yet they all agree on the same thing. Here in Carlsbad, we spend way too much money on things, and yet we fight all the time. So it's such a weird situation that we got going on here. Does the city of Encinitas not have enough money to build, a roundabout that is good quality? Do they not have the money for that type of infrastructure, for the best of the best roundabout? And guess what? We're getting two. We're getting two. Two of them. And the project is going to start mid to late 2025. And they said that it's going to be completed by mid to late 2026. I don't see a problem. I don't see a crystal ball at all whatsoever for us here in Carlsbad. I don't. Because so many have mentioned. Because so many have mentioned that when it comes down to it, we need it. The two places, the two intersections right there in Carlsbad Boulevard and Tamarack, and that other part of Tamarack, is where we desperately, extremely desperately need the roundabouts. The roundabout that is, as we all know, is on State Street, right? Where you're going into Oceanside that direction, right? You're entering Oceanside that direction. You're coming from Oceanside, entering back into Carlsbad from that direction, right? That roundabout we have had in place right there for a very long time. More than 3 years, more than 4 years, more than 5, more than 10. It's been a very long time that we've had that in place. And guess what? Not once ever in the time that we have had that put in place has anybody, when we had Matt Hall, when we had Corey Schumacher, when we had other individuals on city council, whether it be Democrat, Republican, whatever, what have you, not any one resident has said as well to the city council, to the mayor, hey, look, this isn't working. This roundabout right here, that meets Oceanside and Carlsbad, is not working. And that we need to remove it. The problem with Encinitas that I have read in this article, which you can all find on my previous video, is that we're not going to go over the article once again. Okay, we're just going to go over this post by my friend Shirley Anderson, and then go over that video that I brought up, because we're going to watch the entire video. It's in entirety. I mean, we all know this video is really long. This video is like 30 minutes long. However, what I'm trying to get at is that, because again, because in that video, you are going to see all the different ways of how it's going to work, right? The flow of traffic, right? Us bikes and scooters can merge into the, if we feel comfortable, us on scooters and bikes, if we feel comfortable, we can merge. So in 2020, late 2026, like end 2026, when it's going to be like official, and when we can use those two roundabouts, if those of us on scooters and bikes feel comfortable enough, we can merge in with cars and then go back into the bike lane. No problem. And then amongst other things as well, right? Other things as well, safety. things like that. So there is really no reason for this comment or this like part of your post here, Shirley, because again, I really, really like you. You're one of my friends in my life. So I have many friends, and you're one of them, which I get really excited to see. Because you're one of my friends that, among a few of my friends that I rarely ever get to see. And when I do see you, I get really excited. Like, hey, Shirley, how's it going? How's it been? Right? Like, remember me? So I get that a lot. I'm like, do you remember me? I'm like, maybe. I don't know, because like people I rarely ever see. So I'm a bit concerned. Not a bit. I'm really concerned because this is very concerning. This is not something that I'd ever expect out of you, Shirley. Because I mean, I don't understand this. I'm really excited about the roundabout. The two roundabouts. I honestly am. And again, I think the main problem with why Encinitas wanted to do this is because it was built poorly. It was built poorly. The roundabout that was put right there in Lucadia was built so bad. They spent, like it says in the article, but you all know me with articles. I like to read the articles and all the comments to you guys, right? So when you guys see me read the article, you guys will see that, look, it was the Encinitas City Council spent, I guess, I don't know if they have a lot of money like we do, City of Carlsbad, or or they don't have enough money. Who knows what the budget is like in Encinitas? I don't know, because we end up talking about budget all the time. And Ms. Burkholder loves to talk about budget all the time. I've noticed that in her. Besides her wanting to bring a lawsuit to the city of Carlsbad for those flags, quite honestly, another thing that she loves to talk about is budget. Asking, oh, we need to do this, or how can we spend this much money on this, right? She loves to talk about that. Quite honestly, if we can afford it, we can afford it, right? The build quality is what matters. So as long as we build, because I know that once the project gets started to mid to late 2025, with the two new roundabouts that are going to be coming here to Carlsbad, not D1, but D3, but D1, that it's going to be the same build and quality that we have that enters into Oceanside, exits Oceanside, right? Whichever way you're coming, right? Whichever direction you're coming from. So entering Oceanside, they're coming from Carlsbad Village, right? Exiting Oceanside, if you're coming from that part of Oceanside, right? Entering Carlsbad. If you want to drive through, bike through, whatever, through the village. So, and plus, it's all about safety as well. It's all about safety, and I know that because of the way that we have that one built, there's no doubt in my mind that the way that these two are going to be built, I don't care how much our tax dollars are being, I don't know how much, I don't care how much money is being spent on these two roundabouts to be put in place. I don't care. I know that's going to be in the proper way. I don't know what Encinitas is like as far as that goes, but you know what? It is what it is. That's fine. I mean, those of you that live that part of Encinitas can complain all you want. I don't really know. To be honest, I really don't know. And if you're gonna complain and be like in a tizzy because we are because again, this comment right here, this post is like very disturbing. So we're gonna refresh it so there's any comments yet. Okay, there's one like Jane Mitchell, whoever Jane Mitchell is, and Kevin Sabilica. What is this? Encinitas, Carlsbad, Rancho Santa Fe. What the heck is that all about? Um, so I don't really know. I mean, this is very concerning to me. Surely, like again, like I'm not fully understanding the reasoning behind, you know, what you're trying to say here, because we need to make sure that we are making sure that we are doing what's right for Carlsbad, what's right for Encinitas, what's right for San Diego, what's right for Vista, and so forth, right? So all these cities, right? The city council and the mayor and the residents need to do what's right, which is make sure everyone's safe, everyone drives safe. And if you're against roundabouts, if you're against speed tables, speed humps, speed bumps, if you're against those, that means you are clearly a bad driver, and you are also clearly someone that also loves to drive, as in, drive, way past the speed limit. Now, again, I do plan, which I keep on talking about this, and I'm not going to stop talking about so I can bring it forth, besides what I wanted to bring forth. Making sure that King Carlsbad Cares Group off of Facebook for good is, hey, we'll go into that later, but make sure their pages down for good, and they never have to, all of us that, me, Corey, Priya, Teresa, countless others, never have to deal with those people again. And for me personally, court anymore, because this is it being continued for 2 or 3 years for each individual is ridiculous. It's not right. It's illegal the way things are going with these people against me. Anyway, we'll go over that in a separate video. However, this right here, again, like with the speed limit, again, I hate that right where I live, it's 50 miles per hour. The speed limit is 50 miles per hour. I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. And excuse me. And the reason why I'm saying I hate that is because they're going way past the speed limit. I see people going like 60, not 60 or even 70, not even 80 or 90. People are going hundreds and hundreds of miles per hour down this street. So one street says 50. The next street says 25. The next street says 30. Do you see the problem here? Do you see the problem? Do you not understand the problem here? No, I know, right? For those of you that don't, why? For those of you that do, yay. Because here's the thing, people drive way too fast on these streets. And the fact that we've got one street over here that says 50 miles per hour, the next street says 25, the next street says 30, the next street, I don't know, it says, I forget, but it is so freaking dangerous. So that's why I want to bring forth the city council. And plus, Priya, she lives in my district. For those of you that live in District 3, please, please, please help me out with this, getting this on the agenda item. Because Priya, for those of you that live in this neighborhood, if you know where I live, Priya lives here as well in this neighborhood. And I've seen Priya's husband drive past my street a couple times. That means he's been on those streets. So, I don't know if, I'm not going to say what kind of car or truck he drives right now, because for his privacy and safety reasons, so you're not looking for him to live in my neighborhood. If you're not looking, so you're not going over there and harassing them or whatever for their own privacy. So when I see him drive past my house, I believe, obviously, oh no, duh, he came home from that direction. That means he was on that 50 mile per hour street coming home. So that makes me wonder, because I want to at some point maybe ask the both of them, hey, what is it like with these 50 mile per hour streets, right? So at the next city council meeting, which not this week because we're gonna be out of town, but the next week, I'm gonna plan on next week showing up, like legitimately showing up, taking Uber if I have to, because I want to talk about this, and this needs to be addressed finally. Even if I'm sitting there all night long and it's not till after, like it's just public comments, regular comments, maybe public comments are like the beginning that are nothing, they're non-agenda item. I don't really know, but I'm gonna email Priya, I'm gonna email Teresa, email Mayor Hall, Mayor Blackburn, and Luna as well, and ask them, hey, there's something I desperately need to talk about. One, there's two things. See if we can get this on a public agenda item, and then we can talk about it. We can go over that item only next time, but this time I just want to get this over. We're talking about it now. Because we need this to be the safety of everybody, and plus, I would, as far as me merging over, when I merge over on my scooter, I don't want to. Believe me. Do you think I want to merge over to the left-hand turn lanes, the beginning of that one intersection, or sometimes even like halfway through the intersection? Do you think I really want to do that? No, I want to merge when I'm supposed to merge, right? Not when I don't have to. But I do it for my own safety. I do look back at my shoulders, and yeah, I got like one rear view mirror right now on my scooter. However, I can't find the other one. I gotta buy a new one at some point. But it's I'll buy a new set at some point. But anyways, so I'm constantly looking over my shoulder, making sure I'm not hit. I'm lucky and I'm so blessed that no one hits me. And I think that is why, the reason why everyone, yeah, you can like merge, you can like cut in front of me, that's fine. I got no problem with that in the intersections. However, but thank you for not hitting me, because for those of you that see me doing that, it's because it's for my own safety and I can't merge. I'm supposed to. So believe me, for those of you, real quick here, for those of you that see me do that on a daily, nightly basis, I'm going to Rite Aid Shopping Center. Guess what? I do it for my own safety. I don't want to, but I have to. Okay? So I think that's why, because I come on here and I talk about it during these types of videos. So thank you. So again, Shirley, my question to you again is why are you saying this when you shared this? That's cool. Share it. Fine. Good for you. Appreciate it. Cool. Share it. But why did you put this right here? I just highlight it with my computer, my mouse. Anyways, now Shirley, if you're watching this again, look at what I highlighted. That's what I'm asking you. Why? Why? Because are you against the roundabouts? Are you against the roundabouts? I don't see this as a crystal ball for the city. I don't. I don't see this as a crystal ball, because we need these roundabouts. So let's go ahead and play this video here. Okay.
A couple of questions, and this comes out of some of the things that were mentioned. I'll just initially follow up with a question around the fire trucks going through the roundabouts. I know, Chief, you mentioned that there's a truck apron and it can drive over the top of the roundabout if necessary. So I'm assuming that's only something that a fire truck can do. It wouldn't be something that a normal vehicle would be able to just drive over.
I would hope that the only vehicle that would drive over that would be the fire truck, but as far as the ability for it to be done, I'll defer to Tom Frank.
Thank you, Chief. So the roundabouts are also designed to accommodate other rather large trucks. So the California legal limit is about what they call a wheelbase, like the wheelbase length, and it's about a 65-foot long truck. And that, if you want to visualize it, it would look like a furniture moving truck. And so we do design our roundabouts to facilitate those large vehicles crossing over it, and they do utilize the truck apron. The truck apron, as you see, it's typically about 3 or 4 inches higher than the surrounding pavement. So what that does is it dissuades other vehicles from using that truck apron, and that's why you get the horizontal deflection, which slows down most traffic.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chief. And then in terms of and I know this question was asked, but just to confirm, because this is something that you have presented prior to this presentation as well, and we heard this from some speakers as well, that when we reduce speeds, there's a greater likelihood of surviving if somebody is struck in a collision.
That's correct.
Okay. And then one of the speakers had brought up, is there a way that we could potentially utilize our education campaign to educate folks on proper use of a roundabout, where it could include an indicator on the, where you have to yield? Is that something that has been done in other jurisdictions or other roundabouts? And if so, is that something that we could utilize as well?
There's a lot of public information out there regarding roundabouts. We have, as I mentioned, I use the adjective too often, but an amazing communications team that we work with. So yes, they will be providing ongoing public education information in regards to roundabouts as they become more popular in town. One thing I've noticed, and while we have this opportunity, we're talking about them, when you approach a roundabout, be sure to use your turn signals just like you would any intersection. So if you're going left, when you're approaching a single lane roundabout, use the left-hand turn signal. It really helps the other users of the roundabout know where you're going, and it really helps provides less frustration in a roundabout.
Okay. Thank you. And a couple other questions that I have around pedestrian safety. I know that was something that was mentioned quite a bit, and something around how do we indicate that there are folks that are crossing. It sounds like there would be, at least from what I've seen in other areas, that there would be some sort of blinking lights or something to indicate that there is a pedestrian that's walking through that.
It's something we've considered when we bring it from the conceptual design to final design. At State Street, we don't have the rapid flash beacons, and many roundabouts are not necessary. Where you really get the safer pedestrian crossings, as you saw in the Bird Rock videos, and you actually can experience that, of course, our State Street roundabout, is you have a more personal connection with the drivers. So you actually get eye contact, and I advise, and people don't feel.
So I just want to look up some more information real quick, and I looked up here. So there's a traffic circle, and roundabouts are two different things. So I would highly advise. I don't really care about Carlsbad cares. Post whatever you want. Lie. You guys lie anyway. As far as Carlsbad, California goes, as far as that one individual doesn't even live here in California, period, he can post whatever he freaking wants. I mean, he lies about me all the time. He lies about others. He lies about everything as well. So is his wife. and threatens us all too. But as far as everyone else that posts there, that's not part of that group. If you're gonna post something from Carlsbad, California, Encinitas pages as well, do some research and don't. Also, when you comment as well, and do research before making your comment, because we need to be truthful here. I'm sick and tired of seeing people being untruthful. So I looked it up. Okay, like I said, traffic circles, and that's what I was doing. I was looking, just typing in, and I typed in Encinitas removes traffic circle on Google, and it popped up. Decision comes in response to neighborhood complaints, and then exactly what it says, and then I scroll down and it says, is a traffic circle the same as a roundabout? Now, this is what it says. A traffic circle is a series of T intersections with a circle road. Each T intersection may be controlled differently. A roundabout is a series of crossing intersections where the entering traffic is controlled by yield signs. So it says here, so traffic circle. So I don't know. So apparently this is what it was. They're in Encinitas. I don't know, guys. Okay, let's look it up. See if we can pull up the image here. Okay, so it says here. How's a traffic circle different than a roundabout? These drawings show how an identical set of roads would intersect as a traffic circle versus a roundabout. So a roundabout is, it goes around, and then a traffic circle is, it is, say right here. Both vehicle, so it says, yeah, so these drawings show how identical set of roads would intersect as a traffic circle versus roundabout. Both involve vehicles moving around a circle island, and both follow normal traffic laws, but they work very differently. The red lines and the green lines in these pictures. So just so you guys know, before I show you guys the picture, I'm read all of this before we move forward and show you guys the picture here. So the red lines show movements that must stop or yield to crossing traffic, shown by green arrows. So a traffic circle framework, and then the roundabout framework. Locally, a traffic circle can be found in the Tamarack Village Shopping Center in Woodbury. Roundabouts can be found at Radio Drive, Bailey Road in Woodbury, on Jamaica Avenue, at US Highway 1061 in Cottage Grove. So I guess there's like two different places. This is Washington County. Okay. So if you live in Washington County, I'm just using this photo as a reference for you guys. So traffic circle, says traffic circle. A traffic circle is a series of T intersections with a circular road. Each T intersection may be controlled differently. The circle is striped concentrically like a bullseye. The inside lane must change lanes to the outside lane before turning out of the traffic circle. Exiting the circle is always a turn movement. Drivers must continue to circulate regardless of which lane they are in. It is legal, although risky, to enter a traffic circle when traffic is circulating in the inside lane, just like making a right turn on a multi-lane road when traffic is flowing in the left lane. A traffic circle may be very large, and circulating speeds are really less than 30 miles per hour, with much lower entry speeds. Traffic circles have low capacity and very inefficient. Traffic circles are used primarily for visual appeal. Approaches to a traffic circle are usually controlled by stop signs, but sometimes yield signs or no signs at all. So they want to add stop signs. They want to add stop signs to this instead. Wasn't there already stop signs or yield signs there in the first place? Think about it. So it wasn't made correctly, and it wasn't the right form. So maybe if you had a roundabout, then things would be different, right? So before I read into these, there's obviously two different, they're completely different. Maybe a roundabout should have been added instead. And saying it's a roundabout is not a roundabout. Modern roundabout. A roundabout is a series of crossing intersections where traffic enters the roundabout is controlled by yield signs. A multi-lane road is striped as a spiral. Never change lanes in a roundabout. Always choose the correct lane before entering, just like a standard intersection. Exiting the roundabout is always a straight ahead. Movements. Staying in the circle is a series of left turns. Entering traffic must always yield to all traffic in the roundabout, regardless of which lane they are in, just like crossing a one-way road where cross traffic does not stop. A roundabout is generally small. Entry and circulating speeds are roughly equal and are rarely more than 25 miles per hour. Roundabouts are able to handle large volumes of traffic and are used for efficiency and safety. Approaches to a roundabout are controlled by yield signs for maximum efficiency. Never cross to enter the island of a roundabout. How can I find the difference? So look for the signs that say roundabout as you approach. Always obey any lane use signs as you approach. Look for if the striping leads out of the circle or around it. When in doubt, yield to all traffic in the circle, including any traffic inside the lane. So I'm going to show you guys. So the one that's smaller, that's the roundabout, and then the one that's bigger, that is a traffic circle. So again, if you are going to be posting, commenting, always do research before you do so. All right, let's go ahead and continue on with this video, shall we? And we can talk more about, I guess, can show you guys another video at some point. But yeah, we gotta be very smart about all this. And again, always do your research. Always do your research.
Inherently safe to jump out in front of a moving car, but what happens is when you're indicating that you're going to be crossing in the crosswalk and you get that eye contact, the driver will see you and slow down and give the pedestrian, yield to the pedestrian, and that's how they cross that 12 to 20 foot distance, and that's what makes it so much safer. So to answer your question, we'll consider the additional rapid flash beacons, but right now they're not included in our plan.
Okay. The reason why I bring it up is I know that's just another way or another indicator for folks to know that that's happening. I know that on the boulevard, whether I've walked it, driven it, I think that's always been a more helpful way to know that somebody's crossing, because sometimes people don't see somebody crossing, right? And so I think I just wanted to mention that from personal experience. The other piece that I was curious about, I know folks mentioned that, you know, we're reducing it down from a significant number of lanes down to this configuration that we have. In terms of data that shows congestion, and I think there was like gridlock was mentioned, does that tend to happen with areas that have roundabouts, or do we see that? And maybe this isn't a great comparison, but does that happen more frequently when we do have a traffic signal versus a roundabout? I'd be curious to hear if you have that information.
Yeah, we do have that information, and if you remember several months ago, we had State Route 78 closed, and we had a lot of congestion in town because of that. We had gridlock conditions. So I took that opportunity to check regional traffic flow along our arterial network and our collector streets. And what I saw is, and it was replicated not just in our city, but other coastal cities, is that the intersections with traffic signals was where the congestion was. And that's what we have today. And so whenever I could tell you the times, and we all live it, Saturday mornings in the summer, like we are right now, southbound coming from Orange County, it's going to be gridlock. And we're going to get pretty much peak traffic volumes going down our Carlsbad Boulevard, the old Pacific Coast Highway, all the way through, because I-5 gets gridlocked. And so, yeah, what we see is more congestion at the traffic signals and less congestion at the roundabouts like at State Street.
Okay, thank you. Those are all my questions. I just have comments. Thanks.
Any other questions?
I actually do have one more. I just thought.
A graphic that we pulled together that shows an automation of the roundabout working. And what I'd like to highlight is this pedestrian in green, actually, and then you just see a bicyclist that took into that shared pathway right behind him. He's of course going slow because it's appropriate. And here's what's happening. We have 2,000 to 4,000 pedestrians walking along this coastline in this alignment. And what I really want to highlight is with the roundabout option, when they're crossing, all of the other traffic motions continue. And so that's where the efficiency of the single lane roundabout excels. Like everything's continuing to operate. There could be thousands of pedestrians crossing this intersection, and you'll still have movement of the vehicles through the intersection. And so that's when you see people, and it's not like inherently natural to think like if you're taking 5, and when I saw that graphic that was presented, there's actually 3 vehicular traffic lanes in the southbound direction, and then you have to add 2 more in the northbound. So you actually have 7 vehicular traffic lanes at the intersection. And how can possibly 1 lane in each direction be greater capacity than the 5 lanes? Excuse me, it's not 7, or no, it is 7. And the answer is that the capacity is limited by the efficiency and the capacity of the intersection itself. And so the roundabout intersection processes more vehicular traffic flow than the traffic signals, or 2 lanes in each direction traffic signal. With the traffic signal, because what we have included in the very thick traffic study, which was mentioned, it is rather thick, but the traffic signal option would actually create additional delay beyond what is experienced today. And the reason why is because currently there is no pedestrian heads on the western side of the roadway. So as I mentioned, there's no access through there, and you're familiar with it, but there's no push buttons. So if we go with the traffic signal option, we're actually going to have pedestrian push buttons for the southern side of the intersection as well as the western side. So that's going to cause additional delay that's not experienced today. So when you look at the options, the roundabout with the heavy traffic volume on the west side with the continuous vehicle volumes traveling through that compared to the increased congestion with the traffic signal option, it would be a dramatic difference.
The traffic and mobility twice.
That's
First
correct.
time they marinated on it, weren't sure. Help me if this is my recollection, and then second time it came out as a unanimous support for the roundabout.
Yes, that's correct. And the first time it went to the Traffic Mobility Commission, there was actually two new commissioners, and they weren't quite familiar with the current city policy, what's included in our general plan and our mobility element. And because of that, I actually brought them in and brought them up to speed with what our current policy is. So I take some ownership of that. We got kind of thrown into a hot one right away without knowing what was included in our mobility element. So then they elected to actually bring it back. They did not make a recommendation to city council the first time, and they did realize that they are an advisory board, and their responsibility is to bring to you recommendations. So they agendized it again. The second time they reviewed it, they did have a unanimous decision in support of the roundabout option.
Anybody have any comments?
Okay, thank you, and thanks for the presentation, and thank you again to the community for writing in and showing up today. I know this is something that we've been discussing for quite some time, and I know to our staff for all the robust communication with the community and outreach. We received, a lot of different communications, and I feel like we had some folks, just like today, we had some folks who are very much for the roundabout, others that believe it should be, just a traffic signal like it is today. Just based on the data and what I've seen, and obviously what I've heard, and especially from those that utilize different modes of transit, besides just a car, to me, the roundabout sounds like the best option based on the information and data presented to us. The biggest reason being the safety of all.
And again, the reason why, the reason we're going to have this be put in place is because 2 roundabouts, which I'm excited for. I know that everybody that lives in that area is going to be excited for it. People that work at the Vigilucci's have also, they agree with it as well. It all has stemmed from safety, how fast people are driving, and also the one that we have right now in State Street that we have had for years, and it works. There's no doubt in my mind that is going to be removed. That is going to stay forever. So again, with the comments and the post, again, with Shirley, I love you. I get really excited to see you every time I see you. You're an amazing friend. But what is concerning to me is when you shared the Senior Union Tribune and you posted that by saying, the crystal ball is in the future of roundabouts. First of all, doing research, right? Again, like I showed you guys, which we'll go over that later. Traffic circles are different than roundabouts. They're similar in some ways, but not always. And again, I don't know if where they put it was just a bad idea, but I don't know if for any of you that were there that night, this, past meeting is what it says. If any of you that were there talked about, oh, it was a bad place to put the traffic circle. It wasn't the best spot, okay? People are getting fender benders, people are getting hurt, and in all ways. So it's like, what do we do? Just remove it and put stop signs? Or because here's the thing. For those of you who live right there, what do you like to see? And don't say, oh, I want to see stop signs. I want to see yield signs. Oh, I want to see traffic lights. Tell me that you either want, which I'm going to put it in the community on my page here, which thank God there's people that are actually responding to the polls, thank God, and like participating in the polls that I do, which is great. That's why I continue to, I'm doing more. So I will ask, what is it that you guys want? Especially those of you that live right there. What is it that you want? And what is it that you saw happen every day? People driving, people riding their bikes, people riding their scooters, people walking. What is it that you guys saw, and what is it that needs to be changed? Because I don't know what there is. Do you guys want to see a speed bump, a speed table, a speed hump be put in place? Or do you guys want to see an actual like roundabout be put in place? It's going to be one of those two things. I don't live in Encinitas. I probably won't have any say in it, but that's why I am asking you guys here on YouTube, because there needs to be some type of other solution. And if it is going to be a problem, and I guarantee you that, because I see a crystal ball, since we want to use that word here, I see a crystal ball in the future of what is going to happen when those stop signs get put in the same spot that traffic circle is at. I see a future. I see a crystal ball and seeing that as a failure, because it does not work. People blow through it every day, every single day. People blow through stop signs. And again, with me wanting to go to city council next week, which I will definitely do that, and I will bring up wanting to get rid of, and I'll ask Priya personally, be like, hey, because like you live in my neighborhood, right? You and your husband and dog and kid live in my neighborhood, right? You and your family live here. And I've seen your husband drive down my street coming home, right? A couple times. There needs to be a change. I'm pretty sure, because when I see him driving in the neighborhood, whether it's because he has two cars, right? Seen him, he good driver. I'm saying for other drivers, right? I worry about your guys' safety. I worry about my safety. I worry about everyone else's safety. I don't like how we have one street being 50 miles per hour, one street being 30, then 25. It just, why is it that one street or a couple streets right here, I'm gonna ask Priya personally next week, you and your husband live in my neighborhood, it's not safe, right? 50 miles per hour, 25, then 30, and then so on. It's ridiculous. Why is it that the street, which I remember, it's it doesn't make any sense, right? We have 50. Why is it there is the street before the street that goes into our neighborhood? Why does it say 50 mile per hour? Why in the world does it say 50 miles per hour as the speed limit on a street? And especially not only that, but on a street, on one of the streets where you're coming off the freeway. Part of the streets in between Ralph's and Rite Aid and all that shopping center, and the streets all the way to our neighborhood, it is, you live not that far from the freeway, and people that are coming off the freeway are going so fast. Is it based on that as there's studies being shown, before those speed limit sign, those 50 mile per hour speed limits were put in place, and then 30 and then 25 or 25 or then 30? Why is it where there's studies being shown that cars coming off the freeway are still going 50 plus mile per hour, and then it'll take them a while to then go from 50 to then 25 and 30? Or what is it? Because when you're coming off the freeway and you're turning that direction, there's this, I don't understand it. You need to stop, and you need to slow down and stop, right? And if it's a green light for those of us in that intersection over the freeway going that direction, right? We have the right of way. And then there's people that are, obviously the people that are turning the other direction, right? I can't remember which. Yes, I can't remember which way it is. I can't think off the top of my head. But you have people, obviously, that cannot turn the other direction, going to Rite Aid, going to the beach, whatever. When it's green, for those of us, cars and bikes and scooters, they're going straight, right? Because when it's green, we have the right of way, obviously. Then when it's people that like you turn left, I think it's left or right. Right, you're right, going right. People are turning right. You can turn right on a red light, right? But you have to be smart about it. I see people going so fast. And one thing that I'm going to mention is that I have heard so many stories that Dad sees so many people throughout the years being hit and killed. Somebody coming off the freeway on a red light. So either two things need to happen here. Actually, two things need to happen, not just one or the other. The more I thought, the little time that I thought about this just now, here's what needs to happen. The 25 to 30 can stay at 25 and 30. That's not a big deal. It's normal anyway to go that slow, that speed. What needs to change is the 50-mile-per-hour limit on the street. 2, no more turning right on a red light. Okay, no more. Because of so many times I have been told that not only there being these teenagers are being hit and killed, but also the way that they're found, the way that they're hit, they're flattened like a pancake. That is the description that he gives me when he sees this happen. That these poor kids, these poor teenagers, just riding their bike, they're doing what they're supposed to do. Next thing you know, they're gone. They're flattened like a pancake. All because somebody wanted to be recklessly driving. I never thought I'd have to say anything like that. Like people are talking about, other people talking about them seeing things like that happen. I haven't personally seen it, but that tells me stories all the time. When he's driving to the beach, driving to the store, driving to corner bakery, what have you, right? So by himself, right? Because sometimes he goes throughout the day by himself, which is totally fine, right? Sometimes I'm half asleep or still asleep when he leaves. I don't wake up. But anyways, and when he tells me these stories, when he tells me what he's seen, I believe it. I hate that it's 50 miles per hour. So again, two things need to happen. 1, no more turning right on a red light. No more. 2, the 50 mile per hour signs need to change from 50. Those signs need to be swapped out for 25 miles per hour. 25 miles per hour. Save the 50 mile per hour signs for the freeway. On the freeway. When you're off the freeway and onto the street, you need to drive at 25 to 30. You follow me here? In neighborhoods, you have to drive how fast or how slow? How slow? 15 to 20, because you're in a neighborhood. You're in your neighborhood, you're in your friend's neighborhood, right? You need to drive 15 to 20 when you're in a neighborhood. When you are, if you're driving through a neighborhood in general to get somewhere, that's how you have to navigate the road to get to where you're going, which does happen. So you need to drive 15, right? 15 to 20 when you're driving through a neighborhood or through your neighbor, friend's neighborhood, just a neighbor in general, if that's where the maps tell you to go, right? Just the street in general, 25 or 30, 25 to 30. The freeway, the flow of the traffic. I don't have my light. How did I fail? How did I fail the written test 3 times? And I know the rules of the road. Answer me that question. Because I guarantee you that when I do get my license, because my plan still is to get my driver's license, to have my learner's permit and my driver's license before I'm 30. So I got 2 years to do that. Before I'm 30. Before I'm 30 years old, 2 years to do that. So we need to make sure that happens. So I guarantee you that when I get my license, I will be a good driver. I can guarantee you that right now. And again, like I said, when you're driving in a neighborhood, 15 to 20. When you're driving on the street in general, 25 to 30. When you're driving on the goddamn freeway, it's however fast or slow the traffic is going, right? I have taken the written test 3 times at the DMV, failed it 3 times. And yet I don't know how that even happened. I really don't. I really don't. It is beyond me. And when I see other autistic people that have gotten their licenses, it boggles my mind. And not only that, but even though all my friends in my neighborhood that I have grown up with, they are normal people, yet they're younger than me and they have their licenses. I'm proud of them. And I see one of my friends, him and his brother, they have a truck. When he wants to parallel that truck between somebody else's car and then their dad's truck, they both, whoever, which one of them is driving it home, they parallel park it so freakishly perfect. I'm proud of him, proud of them. I'm proud of even the youngest one of them all. Like the youngest friend in the group, he has his license and he's the youngest one in the group. I'm the oldest one in the group of friends here. And yet I don't have my license, and it's freaking me out. I'm proud of them. I'm not mad at them. I'm jealous and happy at the same time. I'm jealous of them, but I'm also happy for them at the same time. Anyway. So that's what needs to happen. 1, no more turning right on a red light off the freaking freeway. 2, the city needs to take that 50-mile-per-hour speed limit sign where it is at right now and replace it with a 25 or 30-mile-per-hour speed limit sign. I'm sorry, or just 25 or 20. How about no? To make all these people that want to drive god dang so fast, replace it with a 20-mile-per-hour sign. How about that? Not 25 or 30. I want to see the city take that 50-mile-per-hour sign and put it where it belongs, on the freeway. 2, replace it with a 20-mile-per-hour sign. Also, I want to say them about a no turn on red sign. No turn on red light sign. No turn right on red sign be placed. So there's enough room. That's what I want to see happen. Because people need to stop doing that. When I hear all these stories, when he sees people being flattened like pancakes because people chose to drive so fast, that just boggles my mind. And it has been on my mind for such a long time now. And now that we're talking about safety for the road and roundabouts and speed tables and speed bumps and speed humps and whatnot, what to do, let's start now talking. Let's continue the conversation about road safety beyond the village area. Because Priya lives in my district. And because she lives in my neighborhood and because I've seen her husband drive past my house coming home quite a few times, I have like, because he like stop, say hi, like wave at me if I'm outside, me and Keller outside. So, and so I've seen, I don't know, did Priya tell him to do that? Just randomly sometimes come home that direction if I'm out there to slow down a little bit and wave hi. If so, that's cool. Either way, that's pretty cool. Anyway, like, because I want to ask Priya personally if her husband has seen that, if seen like, if he's also upset as well with that, because it hasn't been brought forward yet, and I want to bring it forward and ask her personally about that. And so I'm just like, I'm concerned about everybody's safety. And again, the 15 miles per hour thing is just ridiculous. And why is it on that one intersection? And two, why are we seeing people, again, not me personally, but why are we seeing people being flattened by pancakes on their bikes? Because people choose to drive that fast coming off the freeway. I see it all the time. People driving so fast coming off that freeway, turning right on a red light. Okay, yeah, some look, some don't, whatever. But I make sure to at least have eye contact with the drivers, wanting to turn right, whatever. Be safe about it. Are you in that much of a rush to get to where you're going? When you're coming out the freeway, you need to exit it properly, as you need to slow down. You need to slow down. And I see that it's not happening. And you know what? We need to change that conversation, and we need to make sure that everybody's being safe. And, I don't know. There's just so much that we can do for our city that we are not. And as far as, our district goes, we're just not. I don't know how else I feel about it, but we need to, be safe and not drive fast. Anyways, let's continue watching the video and listen to Priya.
People that are
And the others as well.
traveling, that are not just the cars, right? It's about the folks that are recreating, that are walking, that are biking. And as we've seen, especially with our traffic emergency and the education, engineering, enforcement that we've done, we've had a great and robust communication, but that doesn't take away the human element and the human error that can still occur, especially at high speeds. And I think that's the part, as a mom, as somebody who does drive, walk, bike, I do all of those. I actually walk from South Carlsbad up to North Carlsbad sometimes with my family. So I'm very, very familiar with the different amenities that we have across our coast. And I think that one of the things that we could benefit from are lower speeds, is making sure that we have lower speeds, especially in that area. I heard from some folks personal stories about how people have just ran red lights, and I see that on a daily basis, just walking around, because people do that. And so I think that's something that I just want to emphasize and mention, that, you know, from that element, I think it's really important. I think definitely from a mobility standpoint, whether just being able to have that constant flow of traffic, I think that's another piece that's really important. Sounds like the cost analysis also that you shared said that it would be about $500,000 less. And then the other piece is, again, that this, from a sustainable mobility plan, looking at that too. I know you all had mentioned that here. It's not just about that, but that's another great element added on from the piece of just reducing our greenhouse gas emissions, again, increasing those multimodal levels of transit, and having the ability to ensure that folks across our city have different modes of transit that they can utilize and have the ability to enjoy in this beautiful city we call home. So that would be it. And thanks again to those that were able to join us today.
Mr. Costa.
Thank you. I know that we're going down the line. I really do want to hear from Councilmember Burkholder and her comments, because this is in her district. And I do think that as district representatives, you know, we know the areas that we live in the very best. I know this intersection because I visit the beach there, but I also know Poncho better because that's in my district and that's near my home. I'm conflicted. I do support roundabouts. I've said that many times, and I voted for other roundabouts. But I also know that there's a lot of questions, and there's a lot of fear about what if we put this in here and it causes more problems and it's not as good as we hope that it is. And I would really like to hear Councilmember Burkholder and the rest of the council before making a final decision. Thank you.
And I just want to reiterate here real quick, is that the only reason why Teresa Costa wants to hear Burkholder before she makes her comments is because Burkholder is District 1. In no way does Teresa like or support anything that Burkholder does or says or wants to do, right? Just want to read that real quick. So, and she's just being polite, basically. That's all she's doing, just being polite. Anyways, Teresa being polite. Anyways, let's continue.
Yep.
Ms. Burkholder.
Defer to my colleagues before I make my final comments. Thank you.
Ms. Luna.
Sure.
Okay, so this is where I'm gonna say real quick here. I want you guys, like I was saying earlier, I want you guys to pay real close attention to what Miss Luna is saying, because like I said earlier in this video, is that she is just going all over the place in everything she says. And so what you're gonna hear her say, which I don't understand, and I'm glad that we're gonna know somebody that's gonna be running for District 2 come November 2024, which is Mona Gakin. And again, I highly encourage that you vote for Mona Gakin, because what made me not want to support Luna anymore is based off of her, back and forth, I like I'd much rather see this than but I don't like this. Or she says, well, I want to see roundabouts every way, like the whole way, but right here, I don't like it. Right here where we're gonna have them, I don't like it. I don't like it whatsoever. But I want this. So we're saying I like this, but not in this area. Oh, but I prefer it to be like the whole way. That to me is what got me, but she still voted for it. which is good, but again, if you just so happen to live in District 2, like I said, like, you know, it's, you know, like, for those of you that actually like Carolina, sorry, but she is just a rebound. She is just a temporary, and because that's I guess the only person that we could have, I guess, who lives in District 2 to take temporary place. And let's just be out like a temporary place until the 2024 election. So just keep in mind that she's just a temporary, and that she was only going to be here for like a year on city council, and that she was there to just take the place of take the place of um temporary place of Keith Blackburn, because that's his district. So I mean, her comments here again, I'm just gonna say it one more time real quick here, is that her runaround of, oh well, I don't like roundabouts in this area. I don't think it'd be a logical idea, but on her butts, oh, I would like to see it the whole way, right? That to me, despite the fact that she voted yes when it came time for council mayor voting, it just, to me, that just says, well, make up your minds, so you voting yes on this says you want it, right? So anyways, let's just continue watching and you'll see what I'm talking about here. I just wanted to tell you guys, I know a lot of you already watched this video, but I just wanted to just let you guys know that like her runaround is kind of bizarre in her comments. So it's really bizarre, to say the least. But yeah, let's continue watching.
First of all, I'm in that 15% and we rock. And I am.
What does she mean by 15% we rock? And then that part too. So anyway.
I walk that probably 5 times a week. I used to live in District 1 and intimately familiar with that. And anything is better than what we have. Anecdotally, my walker friends and that, the flashing lights do not work. They do not care for them. They're very concerned for their safety. I usually side on with the subject matter experts. Mr. Frank is an engineer, and one of the other woman that testified on the she's on a traffic mobility commission. She is an engineer, and the gentleman's wife, albeit an electrical engineer. The other folks, I think, did great data mining. I don't know that they are necessarily subject matter experts, but I know they're great data miners, and I support roundabouts in the right place. I don't know if this is the right place. However, it seems like there are some remedies if it's put in and it doesn't pan out. I like a beta test. I would love to have a beta test out there, have a roundabout, a mock roundabout of some sort where we don't invest all that money, and let's see how it works. That would be my option 3 preference, is let's see if all these naysayers, it's true. Or conversely, the residents that live there, if they actually see their quality of life be better. I don't know. But normally in these type of situations, I will go ahead and side with the subject matter experts. But as long as I know that there's some remedial action out there, if this does not work, one of my concerns is that this is it. It's not segmented. I mean, we have intersections down the rest of the coast. So we're going to have a roundabout, and then you come up to an intersection, and then you come up into an intersection, and then you come up into an intersection. I would feel more comfortable if it was all roundabouts down through our city. So those are my comments.
I've read the emails and listened to people talk everywhere in the city. I think this conversation briefly surpassed the conversation of homelessness. It doesn't matter what we decide today. Half the residents are going to be pleased. Half the residents are going to be disappointed. It's no secret that I'm very critical of roundabouts. I'm kind of a traditionalist. Mr. Frank did talk me into a couple of roundabouts a little bit further south on Carlsbad Boulevard. I came in with the idea that I would say no, that I'm having a hard time with the roundabouts. But your arguments are very good, and the arguments from some of the residents were very good. And you kind of brought me up to this 50-50 mark. But I'm going to echo what Ms. Luna was just saying. I felt okay saying yes hesitantly to some of the roundabouts further south on the Carlsbad Boulevard. This particular intersection, I wrote down just some notes. We're going to hit tourists, pedestrians, cars, bikes, e-bikes, skateboards, people lost, people looking at the folks walking around in their swimsuits. This is going to be very distracting, and I just can't bring myself to supporting it. I will tell you, I'm very close to 50-50, but tonight I'm.
Okay, so I just got a new comment by none other than Lulu Steffens. So Lulu Steffens is somebody who we all know that loves to comment like crazy on my videos. So I screenshotted it, and I'll be doing a TikTok video about this later. It's going to be a 10-minute video. So real quick here, let's just talk about it. So Lulu Steffens writes, subs are down because you now have a photo of yourself and the very unpopular Corey Schumacher on your page. Listen to Carl DeMile's video to understand all the reasons that Corey will never make a comeback in Carlsbad politics again. By the way, you probably shouldn't screw with Carl DeMile. He is a very politically savvy guy. He was able to run Corey out of the Southern California politics, can most likely squash you like the little bug that you are. Lulu Steffens, will you just shut your mouth and leave me alone? Because this is unacceptable. You are saying that it's okay for somebody to bully someone out of town. Corey will come back, and I'll make sure that Corey comes back. I'll make sure that Corey runs for mayor and beats Keith Blackburn, and make sure that Sam Ward takes Burkholder's spots for District 1 seats. And that way, and then also for District 2 as of next year, boom, guess what? We will have Mona Gatkin for District 2. We'll have an all Democratic council and mayor. Finally, where everybody can agree. Everybody at the table can agree. 2. Also, to piss off you and the Carlsbad Harris group, right? And piss off little Carl DeMaio. That is what needs to happen. That is what needs to happen. We are going to make sure she comes back and she runs for mayor and wins. I will get more into that later. But you commenting on my video like that just goes to show how insanely pathetic you are, and that you just trying to get out of my just gonna scroll through my videos here and see if there's any videos. Every time I make a video, you just have to yeah, I mean, so this user says, so Jimmy John says evil people. Good for you, you're calling me evil. So Jimmy John, you're basically saying that I'm evil, my friends are evil. And you're saying that Corey's evil. Good for you. Good for you. Thank you, Festival Japan, for liking this video. Appreciate it. Thank you for being a fan. What was that? Just kidding. Anyways, let's continue on with this video. We'll go into that later.
I'm gonna vote no on this. So, Ms. Burkholder, are you ready?
Okay, well, I wanted to sort of get a feel from every, thank you. I think I was, similar to you. I'm at 50%, but rather than, you, Mayor, I went from super pro roundabout to, oh, I'm concerned, versus not really for roundabouts, but maybe convinced. So I think the concern with this particular intersection is that, the congestion and connection of all those folks at once on bikes, and as you said, the looky-loos and the drivers and the people lugging their beach chairs across the street and their camping gear and their wagons and things. So I am concerned. I would like to see, I know we have to make change. This intersection is not great as it is. So since we have concerns about the roundabout, I'm wondering, as we're having this discussion, how people are feeling about the option 2, the traffic signal, or something that's maybe hybrid. I heard Councilmember Luna mention some kind of pilot, if that's even a potential to ask staff to come back with some kind of temporary kind of pilot program. I'm not sure what the options are.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Tom. Tom, are you familiar with any instances in which they've been able to do a pilot roundabout that's safe?
I am familiar with pilot roundabout projects, and what I would suggest to council is we do actually have a roundabout that's well into design. We're at the 90% design level at the Paramount Improvement Project. So that roundabout is planned for Cannon Road and Carlsbad Boulevard. That roundabout is well ahead of this roundabout, so it's gonna be constructed first. It's gonna be just down the road to the south, and we're gonna experience many of the same, traffic volumes, bicycle volumes. Granted, there's not a beach access just to the west of that location, but there is one nearby at Terramar. So what I would suggest is, to reconsider what your options are, and then, also, we can evaluate how that Cannon Road roundabout is performing, and if it's performing well, and you do select the roundabout option, then we're okay. If we notice some issues or some concerns, we can reevaluate and assess what those issues are, and then bring back the issues we're experiencing at Cannon Road to council, specifically at Tamarack, and we could address what the options look, or what the issues are, what the options look like, and what our recommendations would be for council's consideration to address the issue of an interim type of roundabout. That it really doesn't work because you don't get the benefits of a modern day roundabout. What you get is delineation. You don't get people truly slowing down. We've seen some haphazard installations of temporary traffic circles. I won't even call them roundabouts because it's an insult. And I don't want to mention locations, but we hear from them from the public. So I would strongly recommend against an interim roundabout condition, but I would recommend that we look at how the Cannon Road roundabout is performing, and then adjust based on the performance of what we're seeing at the Cannon Road.
Ms. Papatel.
Yeah, it sounds like our council sounds torn on this, and just based on the recommendation that you just made, Mr. Frank, in terms of, and I know Councilmember Luna, you mentioned, if there's a way, and Councilmember Burkholder, you also mentioned if there's a way for us to have the ability to look at some data, have the ability to then make that decision whether or not we'd want to continue to move forward based on the performance of that. I personally think that's a great option. At least it's a compromise, right? In terms of, okay, let's at least start to move forward in some direction. And so if I'd make that motion to, I would like to add to that. Okay. So we move forward with option 1 with the suggestions that staff just made.
And those that, okay,
We don't have a beach at Cannon. We don't have bathrooms. We don't have a lower Tamarack parking lot. I'm not comfortable with this, so I'll be voting no, because I still like the idea of option number 2.
Okay, thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day. And stay tuned for that TikTok video. I will see you all in the next few videos. Peace.